Hello, everyone. Welcome to this should be game set 5, I think. Let me double check on that one. Anyways, we are scoring up. Here we go. Match set 8. There we are. Yes, it was match set 5 earlier today, but this is game 8. 5 girls, 1 Grungler takes on team... Escape, what's it called again?
It's called Ghyghry. You once again forgot the name. You're a caster. I can't believe you.
Yeah, allegedly. Anyways, I'm Boy Blue. This is Escape GT. We
Hello.
are casting these teams. Pick a team. Read it off.
I'll take Ghyghry because apparently you can't pronounce a thing that's 2 syllables. This is Davinen, Dragonbender, Jeffries, and Velocity. They are playing ANS right now.
All right, 5 girls, 1 Grungler consists of Mav625, Nucleari, Quinto Bean, and the Grungler themselves, Cheese Slayer.
All right, so earlier we had a DC. Tasty Cookie had a couple of internet DCs, and so they're being subbed out for Davinen here. Initially on Yukon, we did get a little glimpse of what Ghyghry was planning to bring the first time. It looked like 4 Sprinter Balls. They pivoted to what looks like a bit more of a normal fleet here. I'm looking at 2 double Axford pairs, a Cap fleet, and a CL push on E. Very actually pretty standard fleet comp for ANS on Yukon.
That might be the most standard ANS fleet comp we see for this map.
We'll see. We'll see if this is able to pull enough weight to win. Meanwhile, looking at OSP deployments, if you want to take those.
All right, OSP, we're seeing them deploying high. Triple liners supported by an Acello towards that rock where we normally see carriers or container liners. Gonna see a good count of monitors distributed across the middle of the map. Looks like 5 of them individuals that might consolidate into a ball.
That's a monitor ball that just didn't have the formation set before, because Cheese Slayer doesn't have any other ships around the map, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah. So it looks like that's going to be a second Acello. I'm liking this dispersed Acello play. Acellos are force multipliers. They make a 3K incredibly dangerous.
Yep, so that's going to be...
Going to see the cap fleet as well, just kind of
around the map.
Distributed some light assets, I think, yeah.
Both teams with actually shockingly normal fleets. Let's be real here. So yeah, the Acellos are going to provide really nice missile coverage for the monitors and the liners, which are both very vulnerable to that. Looks like we're going to see a 2-pronged assault over top at C for OSP here. We'll see if ANS is able to hold that with the Axfords. Meanwhile, the triple CL is very obviously going E. Why would you ever send a triple CL to anywhere else on this map? It just works. It works every time. And there is nothing
on the drop
really,
here.
There's nothing really there for OSP to stop that CL push into E. So we'll see how they respond to that flank. Alrighty, I'll go through ANS fleets real quick.
I'll take OSP. Let's start from the top.
Davinen is the one in the triple CLs. They are going low here. I am seeing Chaff Launcher, and Comms Jammer. So unlike Quinto, there is actually Comms Jamming capabilities on these. Bit of Self-Illume, probably a bit of jamming somewhere on these as well. I'm seeing Comms Jamming, and yep, there's Radar Jamming as well. Very, very nice. Dragonbender in one of the answer pairs. This is a Greedford pair. Comms Jamming on the back of one and VLS 200 on the back of the other. Very, very standard stuff for Greedfords here. I'm going to tab over this and see active decoys and killjoys. No SDM 200s on this. Curious. So they're going to be completely reliant on their soft kill to stop strikes. Rockets will get through if the ships get close enough. Jeffreyism is running the Cap fleet here. Looks like this is a variant of the quad beamstone Cap fleet that ANS really likes right now. I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4 beam destroyers, 2 on Boxer, 1 on C, one of them in the back of the map here. Looks like maybe trying to stop some flanks, or maybe it's going to try and deny A. We'll see if it gets there in time. Rounding out the Cap fleet for ANS. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope. 5 gun cappers and 1 cringe cappler, which is rushing directly towards A right now. Rounding things out for ANS, Velocity has the second Axford pair. This is another Greedford pair. Secondary batteries, I'm seeing Comms Jammer and a VLS 200 on the other. This is a very nice build for a double Greedford fleet. It gives you all the capabilities you need to defend against missile strikes while still maintaining the secondary battery capability. I'm seeing singular active decoy. And some killjoys. No SDM 200s.
Little cheap there, but
no SDM 200s there in either of the Axfords, although looking at
this ANS comp would be very weak to craft had OSP brought any, but looks like they've elected not to. Cheese Slayer, like you said, coming in with that monitor ball. We see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these things. A little bit of jamming scattered in there. Checks the box. These are grouping up with Quinto's first Acello here. Shout out to the little cat on the side of that. I believe that is Lys's cat.
That is indeed Lys's cat.
Pauline, yeah, I think it's pronounced. Anyways, we're going to see one of those there. We're going to see another Acello. This one split off onto the other grouping with Nucleari. Nuclear has got themselves a pair of 450 liners here with the broadside. Looks like T-20 secondary batteries. Backpack, we
Oh.
see a skiff. 450 already opening up and some torpedoes. What has Mav brought today?
It's the
Hello,
cruise
Isekai
torp
truck.
liner. It's the cruise torp liner. Let's go. Oh my god.
This is a surprising number of torpedoes to start off the day towards Seaside.
These are
This is going to clean up this capper very quickly.
Any radar on from this capper. Radars are off. Are these going to go for chaff? Any hit on that capper is going to disable it. The chaff looks in! The liner lives as ANS is going to take C. Oh, great. Very,
Panic
very...
glitter dump there, all but one chaff, and that's going to be that. Uh-oh. Dragonbender potentially disconnecting there with the no, not again thing, or...
Probably
not?
saying that in response to the cruise torpedoes, if I had a feeling. All
right,
anyway,
well,
second salvo already being readied up. Do you want to quickly talk about the rest of OSP before everything dies?
This game got going very quickly. Okay, Nucleari, I've looked at briefly. They've got a Bloodhound early warning tug top of the map. This thing scouts the early warning, use the Bloodhound to then track. Okay, they have then got themselves T-20 gun cappers in a pair, and one of them was on the D point as the caps. A cap fleet, as all good cap fleets start with 2 heavy capitals, right? And then Mav, like we described before, the Isekai truck, this thing's got cruise torpedoes, because you can do that. It's just a little weird to see. And then rounding it out, they've got a early warning tug and a naked capper, which went to E point and died.
Yep, Davenant with a nice E deny there. ANS does take C torpedoes onto A right now. Looks like they're going to deny that wake valve catches the ship that is still burning in there. Oh, no chaff also from this cringe capper beans. Oh, no, there's chaff still in the launcher, not fired from Jeffrey, as I'm perhaps
yeah, must have been set to manual
and not committing. So A point is going to get denied there. Both teams with really aggressive pushes onto the opponent's naturals. ANS's works a lot better than OSP's does, as these CLs are on Eclipse with nothing stopping them. Meanwhile, the cruise denial of E does not work, as Clutch Chaff manages to deny it here. You can see both of the frontline clusters that OSP has are starting to move up, one of them through the mid here. The Monitors and Acellos are just going to push through here. The Acellos firing their Hesh. The Acello will likely engage with its 450 on these Axfords here. 4 Axfords should win this fight if they're able to maintain range from the Monitors.
This is the big thing here. I think OSP is actually misplayed at this stage. They showed their hand that they are very high up. They've got these 2 very powerful 4.5k death balls. That said, their plays to move for C point, they're aggressing towards it, but they've given up so much of the map for this, and also showed their tech off very quickly with that sudden torpedo strike.
Right.
ANS should know exactly what they're dealing with and play accordingly.
Right. We'll see if they do. Looking at Nucleari's fleets right now, this is how you build a double 450 plus half cap fleet. Someone DM this fleet to Spy Eye immediately. Anyway, the cruise torpedo liner, though, moves up really close to these Axfords, close enough to get a cruise torpedo strike on the Axfords here. The Axfords are burning reverse there in orbit.
They're wake, not act therm,
they are orbit dodging, so it's possible that the wake valve might catch. We'll see. There's also a red act in there as well. Axfords are... Radars.
Just look at the names of these. They're called What Do You Mean Cruise Torps? That is.
Yep. Axfords are radars off. Chaff is out. Active decoy out. This should be enough to soft kill these torpedoes. I'm looking at these Axfords. Are there any scryers on these at all? They range out. Ooh. Dragonbender calling
that's
nice
gotta be why they're
as
trying to push so close.
In chat. No scryers on any of the Axfords. What about the other ones? It's possible that ANS already has an idea on what Seekers are on these missiles and knows how to counter them, considering that they've done the perfect counter twice. No, I'm not seeing any scryers, but still. The Axfords actually curiously splitting up here. 2 of them electing to engage the liners in Acello on Seaside. The other 2 from Dragonbender trying to hold back this Monitor Ball. They're actually focusing the Monitor Ball, which is the correct play here. The Acello
Pick off those monitors is much easier than picking off the Acello.
All right, Dragonbender has already begun to split here, trying to get some crossfires. A is being camped by Nuclear R here as their camper does step onto the point. It is target locked, and Jeffreism has a beam out on the A capper as A cap is going to get denied here as that thing is just going to get gutted.
Yep. Not much to say. It's developing right now. There's 2 gunfights going on. Axford pair squares off against their respectable front line at plus 50% due to the Acello.
Velocity with a little bit of a misplay here, deciding to focus their Axfords into engaging the Acello. That's not what you want to be firing at right now. You're going to have much more purchase on those liners, and you need to dislodge any offensive capabilities. But below the map, Davenant completely uncontested, flanking shots into the belly. They swap to the Acello,
there it is.
recognizing that it is going to be broadside to them. Once again,
that's
a CL flank into an Acello.
keeping this thing so it has to bow tank. 250 is going to rip this Acello apart. It destroys everything it can get within range of, and this Acello's only strong from the front.
The Acello does retarget lock one of the CLs, tries to re-engage. Davenant with no jamming out right now. They have blankets. No, they're on cooldown. Davenant's not battle shorting the blankets right now. They probably should, considering that they will probably be able to go dark here. Meanwhile, on the flank, Ghyghryism is going to rush forward with their Beamstone on the C flank here. Although Nuclear already has torpedoes.
Torpedoes might intercept that. Maybe a little too far plotted, actually. These I don't think will catch.
Disables drives. What is the range bracket there? It has enough range. That is a beam into one of these liners here. Hits the center stack. Torpedoes go for chaff. Both liners immediately pivot to this Beamstone.
Beam not battle shorted. Critical error there. Now hits the B shorts.
Bad aim point though as it misses. Wide. It's getting the drive though.
Drive? Main thruster pickoff, pretty good there. Some of the thrusters taking a lot of damage.
Sacrificing itself for as much damage as possible. They should have probably kept that one a bit more in reserve than they did.
Yeah, that was a little bit aggressive there. They were being threatened by torpedoes, but
are now being wasted on the Beamstone now. You can see it. Math has positioned this cruise torpedo liner in a really excellent spot right now, where it's able to get those arcing fire along. A lot of Alliance likes to play really close to this rock here at sea with their Beamstones and even their front line. That liner has positioned itself really well to take full advantage of that. You can see Dragonbender continuing to just fight this war of attrition with the monitors and Acellos. They do manage to divert one of them a bit to the side here, probably aiming to get crossfires eventually on that Acello.
Ooh, beam gameplay on the deep point side as Ghyghryism, realizing where everything is, they just push up and to get clean up two of Nucleary's cappers.
ANS knows where the entirety of OSP's fleet is. It's concentrated up in the top right now, and with that slow monitor push, it's going to be a while until they can get onto points. The experts doing everything they can to just deny the push for as long as possible. Cheese does manage to get into plasma range with their monitors here. Although if they want to close the gap even closer, they will likely have to push into Velocity here, and there's going to be a crossfire there. Davenant CL's doing an excellent job right now of just keeping these liners honest, although without the jamming... oh, no, it's looks like it's
strike coming up towards Velocity. Velocity does kick the jammers on, popping that chaff, as we saw earlier. They have active decoy or killjoy.
Radars are currently off right now. Thrusters not burning from the Axfords. This should be a successful soft kill. I'm also seeing some flares in there as well.
Yeah, flares will seduce those Wake second. Or,
it's not Wake second.
No, that's Wake Validator.
Wake so those aren't really going to be doing much.
Some of them acquire.
They pass through the chaff and acquire the Axford. Does manage to knock out the mag, both the mags a little bit, although it is still very restorable. This is an Axford.
Double tap on the drives there. Gun plotting goes down. Topside gun inoperative. That's a good impact for what was objectively a lot of misses.
Right.
Also, Mav just committing, stepping onto the C point here, going for it.
Recognizing that they're probably not going to be able to be killed fast enough here, these Axfords. They did take a hit. They do swap fire to the liner. A little bit of a misplay here as the... not even the Acello is really in arc to assist with this cap attempt here. The Axfords now dropping chaff. Missiles
Axford's still going to catch a wayward torp or two.
A little bit more damage into there, although no crits on that Axford, and without their front line in immediate position to take advantage of that, there's not really a whole lot that's going to do. C-Point is going to get capped by OSP here as Mav immediately begins moving back. Mav recognizing that they definitely need the front line.
Honestly, respect to Mav for the timing play here. They know they cleared out the Beam Destroyer overwatching C in that very common spot. They step forward, use a lot of their strike to keep these ANS heavy Axfords stun locked.
The monitors do manage to kill Ghyghryism's Beamstone, which did try to push over the rock here, probably to hit that Acello. Although they
Beam from below might say something about that.
Directly into the Beamstone range of the ACAP Beamstone. OSP knew that was there. What are they doing? That monitor ball is going to get beamed on the side. Guns are not active on it, as that beam is going to hit the center monitor from Cheeslayer there. The plain Cheddar takes a beam immediately to the front. That beam, Ghyghryism is just going to hold B short on that beam. Gut as much of the monitors as possible. There goes the structure break there. Dagger goes through for ANS there. The Beamstone aggressive push
targets
off
now
Boxer.
onto another one, knowing that they've defanged it for the moment.
Just trying to
see
gut
what
these
else they
as
can get.
much as possible for the Axfords to just finish off. Two of these are going to
Cheese with the panic change over with their plasma, and we also see their nose guns trying to rotate.
Yeah, Cheese is panicking
Bit of an overreaction.
Right now.
You need 100 mil on this thing.
They're going to pivot their vulnerable sides to the Axfords here, as Dragonbender's just going to have free reign to clean up this Monitor Ball, which is really overextended right now. Jeffreyism is likely going to lose this Beamstone, though, although it just did masterful work. Able to gut pretty much this entire, like half this Monitor Ball, as Cheese Slayer mags down on one of them. 2 of them out of weapons.
CIC snipe on one as well. Yeah, the Monitor Ball, once again, as we see in this tournament, people just get ridiculously aggressive with this. You do not push ANS with the Beam Destroyer count they like to keep unless you are certain that you can kill that beam in time or that you have removed it ahead of it.
Velocity now jumping in on the frontline engagement. Gets a relative broadside on Quinto's Acello, which is pushed over A. One of the Axfords is still maxed down, although the other one's still perfectly healthy. Swaps fire to the broadside of that Acello while it can.
Loving Davenant's choice of targeting here. They are going after the sensor awareness assets at the top of the map while they can trim out everything, be that sweeper cavalry fleet.
It's likely that those ships are providing offset track. Chariot Squadron, that halberd, is within about 8 kilometers, so it's probably exceeding maximum detectability range on these CLs here. Davenant is getting chewed up. One of their CLs has taken some damage.
CLs will get locked through it for what it's worth, so that offset might be enough.
No, they do break the lock. They do break the lock with the jamming.
Bloodhound from Nucleari will keep that lock on, though, relatively speaking.
Yep,
so
that
a soft
is
lock,
out
not the hard
of
lock.
arc. Comms jamming is going out on the liners, although the Acello is in that group, so it's possible that these CLs are still detected by the liners. Yeah, the liners continuing to
transmit
fire
through that, but there's a little bit of math there.
Single hang-up is... Oh, no!
Yeah.
The CR-75 is down on that Acello. It's actually probably pretty close to that comms jammer being able to hide the CLs, although it's not. It's obviously not enough. The CLs in the
CLs still going to get fired on here as these Acellos appear to... Or not Acellos, these liners appear to have track and fire orders.
Meanwhile,
going to see Cheese Slayer continue to just get
slowly
bled
here. They do manage to pivot back into cover relative to Velocity, although yeah, they're pretty gutted right now.
Jeffreyism tried to come back to the D point with their Beam Destroyer and got punished for it.
Jeffreyism only has 1 Beamstone left. Jeffreyism is playing really aggressively with these Beamstones here. You can see the last one that they have is
I think they're going
up.
for the Acello
I think they're
here.
going for the Acello too. What is that range bracket? Beamstone is
Taking a look at it,
within
that's
about
close.
7 kilometers. If that Acello is not careful, it's going to push directly into it. A-Cap now being taken
sensor
by
awareness
Mav
on that side of the rock. They're going to get in range.
Secure A. Mav is the only one really doing cap plays for OSP right now, as they're the only ones who've been able to really retake these cap points. OSP needs to worry about caps now, as they have been down on caps for this entire game. You can see the point score right now.
More torpedoes launched here, going after the capper of Jeffreyism.
It is detected.
I can't help but feel like this is overkill.
Jeffreyism needs to all stop, although... Oh, it moves out of arc!
Actually.
It moves out of arc. No, one of them acquires. One acquires, although that's a defender in arc. 2 acquire. Defender should be able to clean up 2 torpedoes. Here come
these
the
are not
A-Rad
terminal
axe.
torps.
Here come the A-Rad axe from below. Jeffreyism is still radar's... Oh, no, radar's off. But the axe probably goes through the chaff, yeah, and finds it. Davenant, forced to engage these liners at a bit closer range than I think they would like, is starting to get bled. Although that being said, one of the 40 liners is already pretty gutted right now. The Axfords are just going to pivot over to the side here. All Axfords are still like completely intact, by the way. Even the one that got torpedo struck, is still like fine. As they're just going to continue to get crossfires on Cheese here and just gut them. Monitor balls, once again. Another case of a monitor ball being rushed into a place where it really doesn't want to, as, oh no, look at the Acello, look at the Acello over A, the Acello over A. Look how close that is to the Beamstone.
I know what's about to happen.
Yep, it is detected and target locked as
All right, hello, thumbnail material.
Jeffrey is going around the corner here. Battle short into that Acello. As OSP's aggressive push over the ridge here puts them into the Beamstones. The Beamstones taking full advantage of this very aggressive push over the top here. Just gets crossfired and rushed down by all of these Beamstones. You typically don't see Beamstones rushing down, although Jeffreyism has lost pretty much all their Beamstones. It has worked absurdly well for them, as they are able to take D with no contesting, able to gut this Acello, able to degrade the Monitor Ball, massive battling impact
Missiles
from
out on
here.
Jeffreyism's Beam
Just
Destroyer there, but too little too late.
Too little too late. This Acello is no restores left, half the guns down, no mag.
I'm sorry,
That's
Polly. Once again, you lose to the laser pointer.
That's a mission killed. Acello. The torpedoes now are going to find this beamstone. Radar is still online. No, its radar's off.
Singular torp hit.
They run out of range.
Out of fuel.
They run out of fuel. The beamstone's going to be able to get back to cover and repair.
The beamstone continues to fire here. Quinto is just getting removed on this flank.
Cheese Slayer.
Half of the OSP frontline in shambles. Mav's torpedo count. Let's take a look at that. They have 40% of their payload left.
For what it's worth, the 450 liners plus Acello has done a decent job at gutting Davenant. Davenant is down to a single CL that's still fully capable. The other two are very, very battered right now. One of them with only 2 guns left, no ability to chain restore. The other one completely out of combat capability, except for the interruption jammer. Although that being said, while the CLs get degraded from ANS, OSP loses this entire monitor ball push. They are out of position on all the points. Unless OSP drastically begins to reposition right now, they are going to be in a really, really bad spot right now. ANS with a really high points advantage here means that it's on OSP to get on the caps as soon as possible. And just based on their positions, they're not really in any condition to do that.
OSP doesn't have that much to actually stand on points. Taking a look at this, they've got Mav, which is a Yub liner. They've got Nucleari, who has half of a liner still alive.
That liner has no magazine. It's combat incapable.
Ooh, yep, single mag error.
Yep. Jeffreyism is now... Jeffreyism has a gun capper in OSP's orbit, is now disabling this this intelligence asset. Did Nuclear Ari only single mag these?
I think so. They had to make concessions to fit the full number of capper assets.
That's only just
a vulnerability.
Our mag, yeah, once again, double mag here, 450 liners. Torpedo
Torps
strike
on Davenant's intact CL and gonna find it.
Up Davenant.
Couple hits in there.
A lot less damage than I thought. Davenant's
dodging
fine,
for all they're worth.
Davenant's pretty fine, actually. That strike was
loses
a lot
the defender,
less than I think
radar
that,
panel,
Mav
gun,
thought.
rapid.
Mav, meanwhile, still has 30% of their torps remaining. That's impressive.
There is a lot in this double bulk mag, as one would expect. Sundrive, long haul to really get that fast, aggressive gameplay.
Cheese Slayer not
complex
completely,
plus a large locker.
Cheese Slayer not completely out of the fight. Quinto's Acello is K-killed, as these Axfords, once they clean up, are going to have nothing stopping them from just repivoting onto C and other points and stuff. Cheese Slayer calling
Cheese Slayer with a brick line, just...
Davenant burning thrusters to try to avoid these torpedoes. They need to shut them down ASAP. Radar is still operational, although these look like they're going to hook on one of the already disabled ones. Yep, as it looks like Special Snowflake is going to absorb the torpedoes there. Some of those going to get chaffed.
Honestly,
some
best
of
the circumstances. They go after a already crippled ship.
It actually absorbs it
maintains
decently.
1 CL.
It's definitely absorbs it a lot better than I would expect for a CL that's already crippled. Yep, Cheese Slayer is not completely out of the fight here. Nuclear Ari, with the last of their 450 liners, curiously actually decides to pivot over to dealing with some of the Axfords, trying to hurt them as much as possible.
To their credit, the CLs here, not really an immediate threat in this moment. They had to go to ground. They've been degraded.
Velocity, for what it's worth, has been pushed to the edge of the map there. They do need to start flanking forward to the middle to try and resecure some things. Mav, once again, the MVP cap player on OSP, resecuring E now, as this liner has been on a full world tour around the map, capping all of
more
the
missiles
points.
coming in towards Davenant. We'll see if these hook or not. I think these are maybe cruise too far.
Yeah,
yep, they're just gonna swing and a miss.
As that is another miss from Mav. Mav now down to 20% of their torpedoes. Still enough to affect if they start getting some good hits. Meanwhile, Jeffrey's Beamstone once again finds its prey onto Nucleari's damaged liner here. This liner is combat.
Dragonbender with the Alta 4. there.
Dragonbender. Oh, that's another
maybe
DC
crash?
from... That looks like a crash. It wouldn't be an Alt F4 at this point in the game. Velocity now has full control of all of ANS's experts here. And honestly, full command of the entire team's frontline is a really advantageous spot to be in.
Yeah.
Removes that uncertainty and coordination. It's up to Velocity to see if they are able to micro this many frontline fleets, although that being said, their job is probably pretty easy right now, considering how gutted the enemy's frontline is compared to theirs.
Let's be real here for a second, Scape. OSP currently has, for their cap fleet, a torpedo liner, a intact 450 liner, and a degraded Acello. Up in orbit, there's a Bloodhound tug, and that's it.
Jeffreyism securing the kill onto Nuclear RE's damaged liner there, which leaves a liner and a Cello as like the only ships left on OSP that can affect the front line. Actually, no, the torpedo liner probably can. It's now under fire from the CLs. Wisely Drew's choosing to bow tank here, although with only a large and a complex, it might not be as effective at bow tanking as you would think. Missiles now out. These are more cruise torpedoes, likely onto the CLs. No! These are fired backward at Jeffreyism's gun capper here. Jeffreyism is going to have to IMCOM and all-stop to avoid these. Chaff being fired. Radar's off. Jeffreyism, you need to stop. Those are wake. Yep, there's the stop. There's the all-stop. The chaff might be too far back. Jeffreyism is going to have to probably manually dump some more chaff here to avoid. There goes the extra dump there.
Pops it again. They should be
torpedoes
fine.
Should acquire the chaff. Yep, there it is. Torpedoes acquire chaff. One of the... Yep, it looks like the second salvo as well is going to acquire chaff, as well as Jeffreyism does manage to live there. Davenant sacrificing one of the Acellos for the cap there. This is the already crippled one. It actually is the one that eats all of the torpedoes, although one of the torpedoes misses, swings around, and hits the healthy one on the nose. Uh-oh. Knocking out all the restores this thing had left.
That's going to be a painful hit there.
Torpedo hit on Jeffreyism there. Not Jeffreyism, Davenant. You can see here, Velocity is repushing the double Axford fleet that they had control of originally. They're repushing them onto sea. They actually have a really nice broadside on that Acello, but they are holding fire for some reason. One of them is on hold. No, both of them are on holds. Velocity a little bit probably taxed with a micro here, as both Axfords, they have all 4 Axfords to deal with here. We will see when they begin to fire. Jeffreyism still being super aggressive with that beamstone there, forcing the entirety of OSP's frontline to pivot to engage it here.
This has just been
there goes the engagement.
Interesting.
There goes the
and
engagement
then
as Velocity finally engages on Quinto there. That is enough of a broadside on that Acello for that 450 HE to get bite. You can see the massive salvo coming in now. Yep. You can see the damage adds up really quick here. Quinto is going to be forced to choose which axe repair to bow tank to, as, yep, they're just going to start taking some hits in the broadside there. I don't think they can bow tank quick enough to avoid most of that damage. Mav,
no, even if they do, there's already just such a difference on the board here that any hit that OSP takes at this stage, it's going to be crippling.
Mav doing
they really
all they
cannot
can
afford to lose anything.
to try and deny E. It looks like they're going to get hits on Jeffreyism here, so they will kill that capper. Davenant's healthy seal has poked around the corner here and is starting to get fire into the cruise torpedo liner. Although I have a feeling it's just going to throw itself
Cruise torp liner is down to the last dregs of its loadout.
Yep.
They have got 10 torpedoes in total left to decide this game, and they have just been hemorrhaging assets left, right, and center throughout this entire
Quinto
course.
is now mags down on C as Jeffreyism steps back onto the caps. Jeffreyism with enough cappers left in the late game here to just continuously retake these back caps. The
Credit to Jeffreyism preserving a lot of their assets here, being patient about their engages and just wisely planning to counter those incoming strikes and such. They commit where it matters. They get pickoffs, trading a beam destroyer for a capital. And they've just overall done an incredible job doing punch-up duty with beam destroyer and then stepping onto the cap points that were neglected.
Velocity now engaging this 450 liner on A point there. Does lose his bottom gun there, although he still has the secondary batteries. Probably a little bit of a toss-up on who's going to win this engagement here. We will see, although I have a feeling...
I think the liner will go first when it gets structure broken. A lot of its components are starting to fall apart now.
You can see the secondary batteries from these Greedfords actually does a ton of damage against liners when you get them in range. But the liner is actually forced to withdraw here as that Axford, whether or not it wins this fight, is going to step onto A and secure the point.
Gonna say Jeffreysm's Beamstone, but no,
No,
unfortunately, that's
Jeffreysm is
the
gutted.
gutted one.
It's all of Jeffreysm's Beamstones were gutted. I mean, they did work. The really aggressive positioning from them. Once they identified that OSP had no flanks, they were just able to aggressively push those Beamstones up to dealing with the front line. The Monitor Ball and one of the Acellos gets completely gutted by them. Very excellent play from Jeffreysm, recognizing the opening when they see it, able to reposition them flawlessly to just get
pushing ANS like this is it's something that you can do, but you have to be aware of the real threat.
Right.
You can see ANS's front line fall back a lot like that. The thing is, once you push them back and they're a little hesitant to engage you, that's where you instead collapse. Look for all of those capper assets that are still on the board.
Quinto's Acello on C is close enough to the gun capper of Jeffreysm that it gets friendly fired by the double Axford. Fortunately, it was 450 AP, so it passes right through the ship without doing much at all. But you can see Jeffreysm in the chat right now is very much not happy with their team. Quinto is really gutted on the C point right now. These Axfords are going to have no problem rushing through C and helping the engagement against the last liners of OSP. Velocity.
Really just watching the slow death of the OSP team right now as ANS secured their advantage. They read what the OSP team had brought. It was a good idea. 2 4.5k death balls, push up, supported by a missile boat in the middle. Had a lot of potential, but just they prioritized wrong, going for the Axfords when they should have taken out the cappers and the beam destroyers instead.
Last torpedoes from Ari fired at close blank, or from Mav. I keep doing that. Fired at close blank range on this CL here.
Is that going to
acquire?
Okay. I guess that.
Huh.
Sure.
That righted the mag. That was.
That was a cold launch.
Though 3 torpedoes left from Mad. No defenders left on this CL. Mav might capitalize on that and just launch them point blank range like that. Huh. The fascinating engagement there, although it's
certainly a missile of all time. Velocity moves towards D point to secure that and just didn't hold it.
It looks like
Nucleari with their Bloodhound tug trying for B.
Oh, there go the rest of the torpedoes into the CL. Fired too close. One of them looks like it hits on the drive section. Causes a crit, but with no other debuffs, it's going to be repaired pretty quickly.
They'll fix that in time.
The other torpedo launched from too close range, and they are keeping one torpedo left in their arsenal to count as armed, although they still have an arming missile, so they don't necessarily need to keep that. Yep, there it is. Now it's fired. The last torpedo from Mav being fired right now. This is one of the
This one impacted first time around. Let's see if it does it again.
Not enough maneuver on that as it just whiffs completely. Davinen should be able to rebuild that CL and retake clips eventually. Nuclear Ari pivoting their last 450 liner, recognizing that A is lost, pivoting it over to Dagger for a recap, although Velocity has split the Axfords and is already pre-aiming that liner by the looks of it, or not. What do you
Nuclear Ari will get caught unaware here, most likely.
Pre-aiming the Acello on C still. Once again, Velocity having to micro. 6k worth of frontline here. Can't really blame them for that, although even if this liner gets the drop on this Axford will most certainly win that
Axford in a better state overall than that liner. That liner, 6 teams, a bunch of bruised components that they're still actively putting together right now. They do get the turn started up now, but...
CL on Eclipse firing RPF, 250 RPF into this armor-stripped liner here. Does manage to right out the bulk.
The drive getting more crits or events going on.
Fires? What happened there? It's still going to get repaired in time. Possibly a fire started? Possibly. No, there would have been... Did a fire spread from a thing next to it, maybe? Huh.
Thruster? Not sure on that front.
Because I looked at it, there were no debuffs. So unless another torpedo hit while we weren't looking, right?
I don't think that they had any more of them.
Arming missile still in there, right? Okay,
Axford over on the D point side is going to find Nucleari. Nucleari is not aware of this at all. Guns start rotating now.
Yeah, radar on this thing.
Hang on a second. Do they have the track
taken off?
No, they're still fixed on the wrong target.
Yep, they're still trying to fire on that Acello at sea from the earlier engagement. Once again, Velocity...
Okay, now they realize Nucleari starts up their shot. We'll see if Velocity gets the awareness ping from that.
They probably should. Once again, velocity, I have to mention, yeah, there goes the turrets, as that Axford should have no problem denying dagger. A point now going into the hands of ANS here. Then Axford just stepping onto the point. Nothing to stop it from happening.
4 cap for the ANS, already comfortably 944 on the board.
In a moment here if the surrender doesn't happen. Actually, no, ANS is going to win on points before the E point has a chance to happen. As OSP completely bled, after the E deny, the masterful E deny from Davin in there, they were simply just forced to push into ANS, and ANS was ready for it with excellent positioning from the Beamstones, the Axfords, and the CLs, taking full advantage of the aggressive push, is able to get flanking shots on the liners, throw them out of position, prevent them from engaging the Axfords long enough on the front line. Yeah, it's going to go 1-1 as Team Ghyghry is going to take this second one, and we are going to move on to a final deciding game.
Going to be another win for ANS now. That's...
Yeah, as Liss would say, multiple wins from ANS here in a row. What type of idiot balanced this? Falcon in shambles right now.
Executing well on it. We're going to go on to round 3 then, as the points will just tally up here. 2 more ticks. And yeah, OSP, I'm just going to flat call it. OSP in this tournament has not known how to play Monitor Ball.
Yeah, that's like 4 times the Monitor Ball has YOLO'd itself into things. Like, OSP knew that the Beamstone was there overwatching A, right?
Yeah.
And
part of the point of Monitor Ball is to clear that Beamstone. You have 100 mil secondaries.
They knew it was there. They knew it was there. That granted, they didn't know about the Beamstones pivoting from B. That is a very rare tactic that ANS doesn't usually use. But still, that was... and even then, a push into 4 Axfords without flanking support, like, the Monitor Balls had to have known, like, Cheese and Quinto pushing over A had to have known that the 450 liners that they were probably expecting to support the push were busy dealing with the CLs. You can see there what happens when you don't secure your flanks there. CL rush onto E is very, very common on Yukon, and I'm actually really impressed that 5 Girls 1 Grungler didn't anticipate that and put ships there to stop that, because once again...
If they had put their 450 grouping, like their liners and their Acello low there instead, they could have punished that very well, or just like set it more toward the middle of the map. Instead, they went for the C point rush and just never really got it.
All but like a couple games on Yukon in the tournament so far, CLs have been the deciding factor for the most part. Those free flanks that OSP keeps giving those CLs is very devastating for them. Those CLs live and die by being able to get that flank, and it just, yeah.
Torp liner pulls good numbers. What's this? 46,900 flat damage. So, to its credit, it punched really hard.
Yep. I mean,
450 liners.
Mav played that Torpedo Cruise liner very excellently, putting it in a really close position on the C-Rock there. Like I was saying before, ANS plays around that C-Rock quite a lot, and getting able to get those like surprise Torpedo Cruise shots around the rock, in a lot of circumstances, that worked really well. ANS, though, anticipated it. They moved back. They knew how to soft kill those torpedoes, and they did an excellent job dealing with them on the ships that mattered. There were a lot of moments there where even the cappers were able to deal with those torpedoes. Quinto, gets found out by the flanking Axfords and also the Beamstone, as, it's going to go 1-1, and we're on to the last one.
Couldn't say it better myself.